niombe na wewe ili tuepuke mambo yaliyo mabaya. Yesu Kristo mwana wa Mungu aliye juu mbinguni, inakukaribisha katika maisha yetu ukiwa mfalme wa amani. Ukakae pamoja na ndugu mpendwa, pamoja na dada mpendwa, na wazazi wetu wote, na kila mtu awaye yule. Ukiwa pamoja na yeye, basi tutaishi katika amani. Mambo ya madhambi tutayaepuka. Ninaomba nikiamini katika jina la Yesu Kristo mwana wa Mungu. Amen. Na jina yangu pia ni mchungaji Joseph Maiti Nchenje kutoka katika kanisa la African Divine Church Mission, likiwa pale Mrabi Area 4 Mathare, na kukaribisha tuabudu pamoja. Naye Mungu wa amani azidi kukaa pamoja nawe. Ubarikiwe sana.
Hii ni KBC Radio Taifa.
Kila kitu maishani sina sauti yaleta furaha.
Radio.
Sauti ya elimisha, ya himiza, ya tuleta pamoja. Sauti ya Kenya.
Radio Taifa. Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
I had promised her that I would kill just about anyone who would harm her in any way. Today is the last day of your life, Bindusar.
What are you doing? In order to face the enemy, Magad needs all its sons. And only Sishim can bring Ashok back. You have lost today, Chanakya. Magad has lost today.
Shoma Odem. My co-anchor on sign language interpretation this afternoon is Lancer Odengo. It is the 14th day in the month of April 2021 when interviews into the Baraza succession enters the third day. My colleague Benson Chumba is on that trail, and separately, friends, colleagues and relatives to the late senior KBC News video editor are bidding goodbye to the late in the county of Nairobi. They are currently at the Montezuma Monelisa Funeral Home in Langata constituency, and they are viewing the body of the late. This is after a mass was conducted by church leaders in the area. saying goodbye to the late. Many will eulogize the late as a kind soul. Betty was a senior news video editor here at the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. She worked so well with colleagues, and not only people in the media fraternity, but also outside the media industry. And this is evident from the people that have been able to converge at the Montezuma Mona Lisa Funeral Home in Langata constituency, bidding farewell to the late. Here at the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation would say we have lost a leader, a dedicated journalist aimed at uniting the newsroom team, ensuring that we have the best production anytime we are tending to give you a news items in on your screens. Betty has been playing a key role onto this, and also the technical team. They say before she joined the newsroom department, she was very cooperative. The late was killed by unknown people to her at her Ololua home in Ngong, Kajiado County, and she will be laid to rest this afternoon at her Ololua home in Ngong, Kajiado County. A section of political leaders have been able to grace the event this morning, and they are still at the event. And many the leaders who have attended the event, mostly from the county of Bungoma, where she comes from, they say they knew her when she was at a tender age, and she was always passionate about peace, ensuring that the society is always at peace and motivating the society in climbing the ladder. She was one who was not believing the sky was the limit. And it's a big loss, not only to the media fraternity, but to the society at large. The Bungoma Senator Moses Wetangula eulogized the late as a dedicated worker who once served her while she was assistant minister in the national government. And right now they are viewing the body of the late Betty Baraza. These are pictures coming to you live from the Montezuma Mona Lisa Funeral Home in Langata constituency, the county of Nairobi. Family, friends and colleagues are there, also relatives, to bid farewell to a soul that they associated with in varied ways. If you asked us here at the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, especially in the newsroom department, we would say Betty was one who would fit in any society at any given time. May her soul rest in peace. My colleague Ruth Wamboi is on that trail, and she will be giving us information as and when it unfolds. Now, in other matters making headlines this afternoon, the Judicial Service Commission is conducting interviews for the succession of Maraga, the former Chief Justice. And today we are doing the third day for Maraga succession. My colleague Benson Chumba is on the trail, but this morning we were able to see the GSC being able to interview the candidates for today, and there are many issues that Kenyans are looking at. They would be looking at integrity. Will the leader be able to hold integrity when he or she gets into the office? Remember, today's candidate is not the first one, but earlier on we had Professor Kameri Mbote, who was interviewed yesterday, and before that we had Said Chitembwe, and the interviews will continue for the next 2 weeks. And the JSC says that they will be conducting the interview each candidate a day, and this will be in line with the COVID-19 regulations to ensure there is social distance. And unlike the past, when this exercise was being conducted in the boardroom, this time round is conducted in open air, but still at the Supreme Court. In other news this afternoon, Isiolo County Commissioner Herman Shambi has warned warring pastoralist communities along Isiolo and Garissa border that the government will not allow any innocent citizens killed. The warning coming barely 2 days after 5 people were killed, 7 houses torched, and 8 motorbikes stolen during the attack in the region. He urged the 2 communities involved in the recent conflict to cooperate with detectives investigating the incident so that the perpetrators are brought to book. Following the recent attack at Kambia Samaki in Garbatula sub-county of Isiolo County, where 5 people were killed and 7 houses torched in clashes pitting 2 pastoralist communities in Isiolo South and Lagdera in the neighboring county of Garissa, Isiolo County Commissioner Herman Shambi has warned conflicting pastoralist communities along Isiolo and Garissa border that the government will not allow innocent citizens to be killed.
Tukakutana na wenzetu kutoka Garissa County wa usalama na tukapanga mikakati ya kuweza kuhakikisha kwamba mambo haya hayarudiwi tena na kwamba wale ambao waliteketeza pia waweze kuchukuliwa, kutafutwa, kusakwa na kuchukuliwa hatua zifaazo.
He blamed the high level of insecurity in the area on the proliferation of illegal firearms, saying there is need to mop out all the illegal arms in civilian hands through a forceful disarmament exercise. He said the timeline for surrendering of illegal arms issued by the regional commissioner, Isaiah Nakoro, was almost elapsing.
Bunduki haramu, vile watu nasema haziji kupika ugali. Bunduki haramu inakuja kufuata maisha ya binadamu tu. Hapo ni vizuri tuweze kushirikiana kuzitoa.
The administrator noted cattle rustling could also be contributing to the intercommunal conflict, noting that recently the Isiolo County Security Team recovered and handed over 287 goats that had been stolen from Lagdera in Garissa County. He urged the 2 communities to cooperate with detectives investigating the incident so that the perpetrators are arrested and prosecuted.
Na ile watatusaidia nayo ni kutoa habari tuweze kushika hao majangili ambao walifanya mambo kama haya. Kwenda kuua watu wenye umri mkubwa wa zaidi ya miaka 60, 70, 80, wengine hata wako wajawazito ni kitu mbaya sana.
Samburu County government is setting up an oxygen plant in Samburu Referral Hospital to avoid shortage of oxygen in hospitals in the county. Speaking in Samburu, CEC in charge of health, Stephen Lekupe, said the plan to be put up at a cost of 20 million shillings is expected to produce 500 liters of oxygen to be used in hospitals in the region, and especially in Maralal Hospital, where COVID-19 patients in the intensive care unit are using a lot of oxygen. The plant is expected to be complete in a month's time.
Full capacity, and critically sick patients are consuming between 8 to 10 cylinders per day. So you can imagine the number of cylinders we require. So it's been very expensive, been supported by COVID Fund Committee, and we have been able to make sure that no single day, no single minute have we gone without oxygen. But now we are in the process of procuring oxygen plants.
Central Region Commissioner Wilfred Nyagangwa has warned bars and entertainment joints in the region against flouting the set COVID-19 prevention guidelines set by the Ministry of Health that they risk closure. Speaking in Nyandarua during the distribution of Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education examination papers, Nyagangwa noted it was vital for the entertainment sports to follow the set guidelines of social distancing, wearing of face masks and closing at the stipulated time.
Central Region Commissioner Nyagangwa decried that some people were not adhering to set COVID-19 prevention protocols, warning they risk having their businesses license cancelled. He accused a number of leaders from the region of declining to follow the set guidelines, warning they risk arrest. On cessation of movement within Kiambu County, which is one of the counties in the region marked as a red zone county, the commissioner urged residents to continue staying in the low-risk counties to help contain spread of the deadly virus. Nyagangwa, who supervised distribution of the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education examination papers in Nyandarua, expressed satisfaction with how it is being conducted, saying so far no case of malpractice recorded.
We want to warn also some of the people who are operating these outlets, especially entertainment areas and the other areas, to ensure that if you are found to have broken the COVID rules, will close your business. And that is not very good, but to ensure that this observing the COVID, social distancing, wearing masks must be observed to ensure that this is about personal responsibility. It's not, it cannot be only enforced by government alone, but the personal responsibility.
Reporting for Channel 1 News, I'm Jacinta Nyambura.
Provision of health services in Nakuru County are set to improve following the launch of Afya Moja Digital Health, a new integrated medical records program that aims to connect health service providers and patients. The initiative, a pilot project by Safaricom, will enable patients who can download the Afya Moja mobile app to seek services of a medical service provider at a reasonable fee and also save on time. Afya Moja is also a digital health passport that receives and stores patient information. Health stakeholders in the county have lauded the gesture, saying it will go a long way in improving service delivery lives.
In Kenya, we have multiple forms of ID, so even using those multiple forms of ID could result in duplication of patient records. If I visit with my passport, then I visit again with my national ID, then there's a potential for that. But I think even from a GSM perspective, we recognize that the most authoritative identifier is a government-issued ID.
The Kikuyu Council of Elders has called on Kenyans to embrace their diverse African culture and values in a bid to safeguard traditional practices in the current contemporary society. The elders noting it is unfortunate that a number of traditions are fading away fast due to social change, warning that young generations may forget their ancestral roots.
Speaking in Joro during a graduation into adulthood for 59 boys, after being circumcised under the Kikuyu traditions, Ng'ang'a Wakamau, a Kikuyu elder, said positive dimensions of culture ought to be practiced and passed on to succeeding generations. He said the elders have resolved to instill good morals in the initiates in a bid to integrate the Kikuyu tradition.
Mwanzo, Mungu alikuwa akitusikia. Watu hawakuenda uchi, watu hawakushuka nywele kama ni wanaume. Watu hawakuweka vipuli katika masikio kama ni wanaume. Kwa hivyo ile kitu ningesema ni tushirikiane na tusaidiane. Bangi sio mzuri na hata dawa. Na tunawapisha, tunawaambia sio haki. Unaona, unamwambia kuna haki ya kugojea. Kwa sababu mwingine amefanya hivyo, ameoa. Yeye ni mtoto mdogo. Ameoa tena mtoto mdogo. Sasa wote wawili hakuna uvumilivu. Yule akiruka na huyu akiruka, kila mmoja anaona kama anachukia yule mwingi. Kwa hiyo inakuwa vita.
On his part, Kariuki Wamaina, also an elder, called for more partnership with relevant stakeholders, including the church, to ensure young people get the right mentorship.
Sema ya tuende tukatairishia watoto kanisani. Hapana. Hatupigi kanisa na hatupigani na kanisa, lakini ile mambo inafanywa na hii wasee, inaonekana tukishikana wote pamoja, tunaona kama tunaweza kurudisha hii maneno kwa njia ile inatakikana.
You're watching Channel 1 Lunchtime News. We are taking a short break. Remember, we're also live on our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1 on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And also Monday on our Facebook page is saying your condolences to the late Betty Baraza's family. It will be well. We are taking a short break. See you on the other side.
Ili kupata skiza tune hii lazima nishike kwa simu yako, bonyeza *811*962#.
Lazima nishike mapema. Nisiposhika simu mapema utakasirika. Acha mimi nijua mtu ya marathon na niko na experience kabisa. Niko na experience. If you don't hurry, you will not break the record. Okay, acha nishike simu.
Ili kupata skiza tune hii bonyeza *811*962#, *811*962#.
Next on.
Naanza kujijamba, kujipiga kifua, akidharau kina mama.
Twanga mtu kabisa, kwanza twanga mtu iko nini?
Kuuliza na twanga nani? Sina kuongelesha wewe. Ile mtoto atapa akiamka.
Ndio bwanangu tu ni kumfuatafuata saa yote.
Kama huyu mzee wampenda sana, ungeenda umbuku maternity. Tumeelewana?
Usije kuuliza maji hapo, tunatia balaa bure.
Na waingia wapi? Nadhani mtamalizane.
Mara ngapi mnakwambia kuja hapo kutuna sumba sitangu? Umekuja kumharibu. Kwanza hata una class.
Tabia kama hizo ni bwana.
Ilaiska umada.
Welcome back. The Kenya Wildlife Service officials have seized a fishing boat in Kipini area in Tana River County, which was allegedly carrying out illegal fishing in the Indian Ocean. The officials, together with community members and Tana River County government officers, managed to arrest one Salim Colombo Tofik, who was the commanding officer of the fishing vessel MV5ZZB Roberto, belonging to an Italian tycoon. The suspect awaits to be arraigned in court.
Police reports indicate that the ship MV5ZZB Roberto, belonging to an Italian tycoon, was using a trawler, which is a prohibited fishing gear. Kenya Wildlife Service officials, together with locals and Tana River County government officers, managed to arrest Salim Colombo Taufik, who was the commanding officer of the fishing vessel. The trawlers are believed to destroy turtle habitats, as they do not have a device that excludes the turtles. The vessel, according to the police, was found trawling in shallow waters of a depth of less than 15 meters, in contravention of the Fisheries Management and Development Act of 2016.
Walikuwa wako shallow water, pwani kabisa, ambao ni maeneo ya kuzalia samaki na ambao mahali kama hapo haifai kuvuliwa. Naona kitu ya tatu, sasa walipovuta ile trawler, sisi tulikuwa hapo ndani. Wamevuta ile trawler, ile neti ni inchi 1.5 ama inchi 2, na samaki wenyewe wanavuja kwa hiyo neti. Wanashika samaki wadogo.
Area residents say they were happy the vessel had been impounded and called on the government to completely ban trawling in Kipini, saying it is harmful.
Tunasema trawler must go. Trawler ende zake, hatuna haja trawler. Haina faida yote. Wanakaa wanapata mamilioni ya mapesa hapa, wanatudanganya sisi kwa shilingi 40,000 kwa kila mwisho wa mwezi. Si kudanganya watu. Wao wanatoa mabilioni hapa. Season tena kwa season. Sisi tunaomba bwana, kama serikali tusikize kilio chetu wananchi. Kama wananchi wa Kipini, tunasema trawler must go. Hatuna.
Dozens of farmers in Kajiado Central, Kajiado County are now seeking compensation from the Kenya Wildlife Service, lamenting massive destruction of their crops by a herd of roaming elephants. The farmers accused the KWS of laxity in protecting them and their properties, leading to escalating human-wildlife conflict in Kajiado County.
In the last 2 weeks, marauding elephants have been traversing several villages in Kajiado's central sub-county, including Mailitisa and Koitiko, destroying crops worth millions of shillings. The Jumbos are also said to have destroyed several communal and private water projects, causing panic among residents and prompting them to stage a peaceful protest.
Haiwezekani kuwa serikali imetuwekea kafyu ya usiku, ndovu inatuwekea kafyu ya mchana.
Leo mimi nimelala porini nikitafuta ng'ombe yangu 50 ambayo wamesambaratishwa jana usiku. Mashamba yangu pia imeharibiwa. Shamba nyingi katika hii area yote leo imesambaratishwa. Na hii ni karibia miezi 3 tukilalamika tu, watu wa serikali waje watusaidie kuondoa hii wanyama.
Dozens of farmers are now seeking compensation from Kenya Wildlife Service, citing laxity in curbing the escalating human-wildlife conflict.
Na ile saa hii chakula ile tunategemea ndio sasa iwe lishe yetu, ndio saa hii unaona wanyama wanakuja kuharibu. Ukiwapigia watu wa KWS na wanarokota kodi kwa sababu ya hawa wanyama, hakuna usaidizi tunapata.
They are urging KWS to relocate the animals to public game reserves.
Zimeenda zikiharibu kila mahali. Kwa hivyo tungeomba tu kama kuna uwezekano itafutiwe namna ndio at least ziondoke, ziende mahali zinastahili.
Suleiman Yeri, Channel 1 News.
Time for business news. Facebook's Oversight Board is set to start reviewing content that has been allowed to remain on the platform despite requests to remove it. Previously, the board only had appeals from users about content they felt had been unfairly removed or referrals that came from Facebook itself. Here are the details of this and other stories from across the globe.
Facebook's Oversight Board has the power to overrule Facebook's original content decisions. Content eligible for appeal includes status updates, comments, videos and shares on either Facebook or Instagram. The person responsible for creating the original post will be told that their content has been submitted to the independent body, as well as whether any further investigation is being taken. However, the people who made the complaint about the post will not be identified unless they have consented their identity being shared. Meanwhile, U.S. Envoy John Kerry is heading to Shanghai, to China, in advance of a climate summit President Joe Biden is hosting next week. After a major diplomatic row at the UN, the U.S. and China hope to cooperate over plans to drastically cut emissions. The U.S. wants China to cease building coal-fired power stations and stop financing coal ventures abroad. China wants U.S. to give more cash to developing countries to obtain clean technology and adapt to climate change. It also wants the U.S. to announce deep cuts in carbon emissions. Finally, Japanese shares ended lower on Wednesday, weighed down by a cyclical, as a resurgence in COVID-19 cases cast doubt over prospects of an economic rebound, while falling interest rates dragged banking and insurer stocks. Shipping firms and textile led to declines on the main bourse, with clothing material maker Toray Industry losing 3.4%. Terry Njenga, Channel 1 Business.
Well, back to the local scene. My colleague Kamche Menza is with the Education Cabinet Secretary, Professor George Magoha, and he is inspecting the exercise on the ongoing Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education examinations, which are entering the 12th day. And Kamche is informing me that the professor is addressing the press. Let's listen in.
Like I'm speaking to you, we are talking about over 20 people
But the number will continue because when we find that, for example, this morning when a media person gave me a heads up and the paper was for afternoon, I had to revert back to our printers because even me, I can't open to check whether it is correct. Do you understand? But luckily, we already know where it has come from, and the people will get, I don't want to say so until they have been arrested. And after they have been arrested, we then trail. And I must also thank the security agencies that last week, they arrested one of the masterminds in Suba. It means there is another one somewhere, but we are going to be very closely watching. In any case, the examination is about to finish. All the papers left are optional papers. Are we together? Like in this beautiful school with the most intelligent kids, I've been around to see the agriculture children, and over 300 children, there are only 21 doing agriculture. So people are really losing their minds. Asante sana. This is the one that should give
Well, Kamche Menza is on that beach today. Education Matters, she will be bringing us up to speed with the latest developments when she gets them. In other news, and it is sports time, European Champions League holders Bayern Munich has been eliminated from this year's competition on away goals rule despite beating PSG 1-0 at home in the second leg match played last night in Paris. In another match, Chelsea progressed to the Champions League semi-finals for the first time since 2014 after a 2-1 aggregate win over Porto despite losing the second leg tie 1-0 to Portuguese side.
It is Chelsea.
Chelsea survived a spectacular late overhead kick from Mehdi Taremi to overcome Porto and confirm a place in the Champions League semi-finals for the first time in 7 years. The Blues progressed to the last four despite losing 1-0 on the night.
Benitez with no love lost, or they will play Real Madrid, against whom they won their first ever European trophy. That's a brilliant goal. Oh my goodness, what a fabulous goal by Mehdi Taremi for Porto. It has come with 1 minute of added time to play.
In France, Paris Saint-Germain knocked Bayern Munich out of the Champions League after a 1-0 win. For the Bundesliga side was not enough, with the French champions progressing to the semi-finals on away goals rule after a 3-3 aggregate.
Coman, Thomas Muller, Alaba, and in goes Choupo-Moting, and Bayern have the breakthrough goal, and now it's on. Now it is really on.
Tonight, the Liverpool faithful will be praying that lightning strikes twice against Spanish opposition at Anfield when Real Madrid pays a visit for the second leg of their Champions League quarter-final clash. Los Blancos travel to Merseyside boasting a 3-1 lead from the first leg in Madrid. However, they have a lengthy injury list, with makeshift left-back Lucas Vazquez being the recent one to join. Other absentees include Eden Hazard, Sergio Ramos, Rafael Varane and Dani Carvajal. Jurgen Klopp has no fresh injury concerns, with Curtis Jones returning to fitness. The English champions will be aiming to overturn the deficit in order to secure the semi-final spot. In the other match, Manchester City travels to Borussia Dortmund for their Champions League second leg quarter-final tie, boasting a 2-1 lead from the first leg. Borussia Dortmund was minutes away from claiming a 1-1 draw from the first leg at the Etihad, but a late Phil Foden strike saw City win the controversial tie 2-1. However, City will be without the club's record goal scorer Sergio Aguero. Jadon Sancho will not be